All right, good afternoon. Welcome back, punters. The week after the quokka. Oh, Toby, talk
Couldn't
to us
tell.
about last Saturday.
I don't think I need to. I think a picture says 1,000 words. I've believed in him for
Oh,
a long time. It was good to see him do it. I did think he'd probably need to, like I said on the show, probably draw to have a few behind him, but sort of got the right running with Crescetti stopping on the turn and inconveniencing a couple, and he just got to peel at the right time. And like I've said all along, I think he just needs to be last man on the scene. Otherwise,
yeah,
he switches off a bit. So
yeah,
great to see
definitely.
a local win.
It is. It's good to have the quokka stay in WA. Um, but we mentioned it probably before his Roma Cup when we were talking about him heading towards the quokka. He just needed the right back to follow, and it just helped that the horse that went the furthest by him took him into the race. So
Yeah.
uh, good to see him do it. Go out for a break and then come back for the winter bottom, I suppose. Yeah, I heard Bernie mention the Gold Rush 1400.
Why not?
Do you think he'll get a
If he
strong
goes out for a
14?
if he learns to settle on that sort of a tempo, sure.
Yeah,
Like Cup Night, I think like he's bred to sort of go more like 14 to a mile. He's
yeah,
just too revvy at the moment.
yeah, yeah. Bit of maturity. How do you find Pocket Day?
Frustrating.
Yeah,
On in terms of the punt, crowd was good. Not as good as the first year, but definitely one of the better crowds. Um, as good a crowd as you'll get in the autumn, I would say,
yeah,
anymore. Um, yeah, it was good.
yeah. Awesome.
The features lived
Looking,
up to their hype.
what's that? Sorry.
The features lived up to their hype.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, they did.
It was a good race. Quokka was a good race. Joey was a good race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see Twain's Angel do it as well. She's always flashed that she's had that sort of ability, and she put him away quite well. And then, geez, name escapes me. Fernie's horse.
Laced up heels.
Yeah, it jumped out of the ground.
Yeah, one of the better seconds you'll see. Just another one that drew to really struggle.
Yeah. Looking towards this weekend, um, pretty much the Quokka wash up. We've got an autumn series heat, the
Looks
time honored
very
Rogan
similar.
Josh.
Looks very, very similar to this time last year and the undercard of last meeting. People saving their horses for Belmont despite Ascot not being a tired surface late in the season this year.
Yeah, it's played pretty well late in the year.
The new
Where we
bloke they've got
only,
in, whose name escapes me, has done a fantastic job
yeah,
with the track.
yeah, absolutely agree with that. Going off that, how do you see tomorrow playing with a little bit of rain, about 3.5 mil expected according to my Norwegians from
Yeah, it's
Friday
a
night through to Saturday morning?
dangerous game to play. Um, Trying to predict the weather. They'll more than likely, by the look of it, be some rain. Uh, so I suspect there'll be less irrigation go on. So if that rain doesn't eventuate, they'll either water it on the morning, which would be stupid because that everyone knows that ruins things. But otherwise, you're on a bit of a drier surface. But again, I'd say the rain will hit. Probably looking if it's that lower side, that 3.5 mil, probably to five. If they get closer to what I believe the bomber predicting, it could be more like a six. But that'll be one to monitor Saturday morning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because it's been a pretty hot week here. All things considered, like today was what, 30, yesterday
Yeah,
was mid 20s and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what they've done in the lead up for at least this week. 5 meter rail, expecting fair again.
it was interesting last week. I think forward versus rear was tempo related, but I think it was the first time in a while where I really thought the fence, especially in the straight, was definitely not like you couldn't win against it, but if you were leading, I think it was advantageous to just angle 1.5 to two horses off. Um, don't know what that'll be like. Again, this is a different rail position, so and with that rain around, just play pays to wait and see. But I would just be careful of the rail again. We're getting into the back end of the season.
Yeah,
get a bit tired.
Awesome. We kick off with race number one over the 5 furlongs. It's a 3-year-old handicap, 55 plus. We have KTY 225, Haida Guai, scratched from today at Pinjarra, $3. Catch Carter 7, Nikamoda 8.50, Desert Whisper 9.50, and Lucky I Am 11.
Yeah, small but select and decent field to start us off. A theme of the day for me is going to be impossible maps, and this is a great start with them. Three horses that all would really like to lead in Lucky I Am, Nicky Motor, and Desert Whisper. I think one of Lucky I Am and Nicky Motor will lead, and the other one will end up 1-1. I have no idea which will do which. And I think Desert Whisper will be OSL. And then the other interesting part of the map is, does Haida Guai cross KTY early, which I think would be, depending on what the track's doing, which you won't know at this point in the day, advantageous for Haida Guai to do, just to put KTY that spot further back. And Catch Carter will more than likely be last, just first up at 1,000. Again, impossible race with the map. KTY looks your obvious favourite. His first up win last prep was outstanding, and then just had to do the work to be OSL outside of Schmoove Mover. Stuck on fine. Probably better with a sit, which you'll get here in the tempo on. Can't have Desert Whisper at all because I don't think she'll lead. I think she's lead or lose, at least at this stage in her career. Haida Guai needs things to go her way. She sort of can't, you can't really ask her to go early or she won't come back to you. But I think she gets the right sort of setup here for her. I think the tempo will be on, which will just allow her to settle quite well. Nicky Motor been going a lot better since the earmuffs went on, as Lockie Taylor will tell you. Thought she was good last week. Missed the step a little. Still got a bit keen and fought hard behind Black Aura, who goes good enough herself. But this race is largely impossible for me, just with those question marks around the map.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's a really good way to kick off, but it's a really hard way to kick off. I can understand KTY being favourite. I wasn't sure what they were going to do because she's shown tactical speed, like you mentioned last start, where she made her way over from the wide alley. And then the previous, where she was first up, they just dropped her right back. So she's drawn gate one here. So it's a question, could she sit leaders back?
I think she could. I think Haida Guai is pretty quick out the machine, so it just sort of depends on where they want to be, I think, more for me.
Yeah.
Unless they really kick out to make sure they hold leaders back. But I just don't see them doing that with 59 coming in on the fresh side.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, impossible way to start the day, but a really good 5 furlong race this. So moving on, 1460 plus, we have Platinum Shots 330, Bondi Plunge 380, Madame Magic $4, Flagship 5, double figures the rest. Beccalotti finds itself in another 1400 meter race after contending the longer trips last prep. Which you sort of expect second up. She'll get out of the trip again.
I thought they might try keeping her. Oh, sorry. I thought they might try keeping her shorter for a little bit longer to see if that sprint is back in her legs.
Yeah. Where'd you start with this race?
Start with the map. Looks will probably lead scratch from a race today. They had a bit of pressure to go to this. Targeting, of course, the Sky Racing Provincial Series, but you got to get there somehow, and this looks a nice little option to build a bit more fitness. He should lead. Interesting if Beccalotti wants to go to the OSL or not. I find Braden to be one of the less aggressive apprentices, and he proved me wrong today with Quiet Goddess, who he rode real hard to get into a spot, and then after being plunged, and then she just didn't perform at all. But always interesting. Again, I think it'll depend on if there's any instructions to go either way. Flagship potentially crosses Bondi Plunge early interesting how much they want to kick him out up to 1400, considering he has over raced a bit at 1012 in his career thus far. He's sort of not coming in fresh or anything, but he hasn't settled at those shorter trips, so I don't know what he'll do here. Platinum Shot's pretty quick out the machine as well. Don't know how close Madam Magic can be from the barrier, just with those other couple who have that bit of gate speed. Thought she probably ends up 1 out, 2 back. She made a fair bit of appeal in this race to me. Sort of hard mare to catch, but I thought her trial leading into this prep was career best in terms of trials for her. She really exploded away from them late. And then first up in a stronger race at 1200, she wasn't like a big flashing light, but she just got to the line nicely for coming to this sort of a race second up. Just interesting how close she can be. Platinum Shot gets Pike, has some decent provincial form, beaten at the shorts last start, but Gift of the Hearts now won 3 on the bounce. Bondi Plunge, I've had enough of. She just continues to find one better. And Flagship, I've got a bit of time for, but again, the 1400, it's just a really sticky thing for me in this race.
No, completely fair. I think Magic is, like you said, just one of those really, really hard horses to catch. It's almost one of those horses now where you just want to get the right price, but I don't know what the right price is for her at this point. You mentioned her trial. Yeah, I agree. It was really stylish. Bondi Plunge.
I think it's good that she won it. And
Yes.
got the taste for winning now.
Yeah. And look, Nobility in all its right is flying at the moment. So the format, that's decent form. Tash to Clint is a positive in the Metro. I'd almost say if it was a provincial race, you'd probably want to stick with Tash.
Clint just doesn't have the battle hardened in the country.
But yeah, it looks a sticky race. Platinum Shot, yeah, it's hard to. I don't really know how good it's going when you've got Albany, Ascot, Narrogin, Albany form. Like it's all very icky.
I think the only reason it went to Narrogin is I believe that was another provincial heat series race, so just to qualify for that $100,000 final, which is good money for a horse like her.
Yeah,
she can get there.
I had nothing in that. I've got nothing in race 3, believe it or not. 2,100 meters, 84 plus handicaps, the Rogan Josh Stakes.
It's the feature of the day.
Yeah, Filthy Habits $1.70, Iowa 320, Curramundi $8, Fat Boy Slim $8.50, and yeah, high double figures the rest. Small, concise field. Filthy Habits has been a friend of the show in the past. How do you see this panning out for the short price phase?
I think you'll have to sit OSL. I think out to its distance range, Iowa will look to hold the front, and I just think that makes it hard to take the price on offer about Filthy Habits, the real short quote. I understand why he is, because this race isn't very deep and he is well weighted, and he did win that Albany Cup very well, but it wasn't a fantastic figure out of that Albany Cup. And so he just got left alone in front. I thought they might make him work a bit harder, and they just didn't. The horses he beat in that Albany Cup, there's a couple of them in Bambin Boy and Fat Roy Slim, and he gets weight on both of them for doing so. Look, probably wins, but he's far too short to want to take in this race for mine.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I missed it. Where did you think Curramundi would settle? Just right in behind them?
Probably. I don't think they're going to. If I were in Filthy Habits, had a little stoush for a little bit, and Bambin Boy came across looking for the spot, they might be able to get leaders back.
Yeah.
Or if Curramundi doesn't want to be on the fence, could easily just angle off. It's a small field. You do it early enough, but more than likely, probably leaders back.
Yeah. I feel like Curramundi might be getting to that point now where it wants a little bit of sting out of the track. 61 though, 61 and a half, sorry.
61 and a half.
Not easy.
Barrier 1 feels sticky. Yeah.
Yeah. Race number 4. It's another uh, 5 furlong sprint, 66 plus. Black Aura 265, Rich and Co 390, Keep It a Mystery 550, Spree Garcon 650, Tycoon Harry 9, double figures the rest.
Talk to
Start
us
with the
about the
map.
Esprit Garçon trial Perth.
Yeah, we will we'll touch on that before we get to your map. It was arguably the worst trials I've ever seen from a
From
horse
such a
from
quality
a
horse
horse
anyway,
that
yeah.
we think has ability.
And doesn't have the plates and pads on anymore.
Yeah, it's concerning
It
because
was wildly bad. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
yeah, I had to watch him 3 or 4 times, and I kept watching him, and I was
So
like,
pinch yourself
"Oh,
to make sure you weren't dreaming.
yeah, like, is he pushing him out? No, he's just holding him back. Is he pushing him out? He was underwriting. It
And
was,
was
and
weak through the
this,
line. It's not like
yeah,
he sort of built into the line. He was stopping again at the line.
yeah,
Yeah, can
yeah.
pay to forget about those trials. And there is a price point to find out.
Is it enough?
Not this one.
No,
This is not
okay,
said price point. Oh no, but there is a price point. There has to be a price point to find out. Map is another one that is absolutely impossible because Rich and Co now wants to race with cover. Keep It a Mystery. They've been riding back since he won a couple of few starts ago from back in the field. Should leave Tycoon Harry in front, but again, it's Braden on a go forward horse, and if he doesn't come across aggressive, Rachenko might just keep pulling and pull himself through to hold the front. Um, don't want to be too mean here, but if you want to see the definition of a bad front running ride, go and watch and then look at the sectionals for the Diggers Cup last Friday at Pinjarra. Braden on Idyllic Ruler was running 13.5 second furlongs. And on a horse with no turn of foot, that is just outrageously bad. That's my blow up done for today. Um, it was. I knew he was going slow, and it disadvantaged me because I was on Covert Roast, who chose to be on his back. And then I looked at the sectionals later in the week, and I just lost my mind. Anyway, so if I thought Rachenko would hold the front, I could easily make him a clear favourite. But I think they'll try and take cover, and I think that just takes away from him. I understand not wanting to push him to hold the front, but I don't think you should go out of your way to obtain cover. Just let him be where he wants to be. And if someone wants to take him on, they can, and they can go to the front. But if they want to leave him alone, just let him go as quick as he wants to. I think he's a really nice horse. Thought his trial was really good. Nice low weight. Black Aura makes a bit of sense as favourite, dropping down to staying on a nice low weight, coming up against the open class horses. Was a pretty good win considering I don't think OSL's first spot at 1,000 metres last start, beating Nicky Motor. Be interesting how Nicky Motor goes earlier in the day as a bit of an indication. I expect she'll go good enough. Esprit Garcon, we've talked about. If he trialled like he was half the horse we know that he can be, he'd be right in this, but those trials were god awful. And Keep It a Mystery's going good enough, but another one in this race where I'd probably prefer if I thought they'd ride him on speed, which I don't think they will.
yep, yep, awesome. Yeah, I've got an opinion of a Rich and Co. Obviously, half relation to the Karikata winner, Talking Co.
And a half relation to Esperance Maiden winner and multiple time Class 2 winner, West Coast Warrior.
So I have to respect it first up. Its trial was nice, but I couldn't find myself on anything else other than Black Aura. I think Tycoon Harry is a good chance. I could definitely see him going on with it from his first up run. But Black Aura, she's making every challenger a tick at the moment. She's had options for Saturday, and they've chosen to come here with 54, taking on the older horses. Obviously,
Part of that would as well would be dodging KTY. think they
Yeah, same
definitely want to split
stable.
those two up.
Yeah, yeah, and look, that's completely fair. Look, she's shown tactical speed in the past, so I don't think she'll get too far out of her ground. I do find the
She
prep,
should get straight around. Mars Mission and Zing to Win haven't been showing any gate speed lately. So I
yeah,
thought she'd get straight down outside of Rich and Co.
yeah, and from there, I think that's the race. I think,
It's going to leave you close enough, yeah, no matter
yeah,
what happens around that.
I'm just not sure about this prep. She's now what, third up. She's gone 1,400, 1,200, 1,000, staying at 1,000.
Well, there was
Sorry,
that prep.
1,200, 1,000, staying at 1,000.
Well, that first up run at 1,200 was originally programmed as a 1,000 meter race, but then they had that incident down the straight that was completely unrelated to anything, and they moved the next couple of meetings 1,000 meter races to 1,200s. Was the
Classic.
I think the main only reason that she raced at 12.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
But
Yeah, I
she
didn't
did still
know
have
that.
to
But
do it.
yeah, she still had to do it, and look, she went off at a very short price, and it was just an easy kill. And then look, she was, yeah, more than impressive last start, and I think there's no reason to hop off her. I think she's a very smart filly on the rise. Um, yeah, keen for her on Saturday. Race number 5, the 2-year-olds that guess the wash up of the Caracatta. Um,
Few that didn't make the cut with prize
yeah,
money.
the 1,100. So we've got Playing at Sweet 360, Philomere $5, Bannard 7, Guarantor 7, Don't Week 7, double figures the rest. North Melbourne just kicked the goal. It's 3 points. Um,
Kanga.
um, did you try and map this at all?
Well, I did. I certainly tried. I thought Philomere would be closer. Bannard showed a lot more gate speed now that he's gelded. Now you see him, he probably wants to take up a forward spot. Um, Don't Wink was close last start. Don't know what they do from out there and blow me kisses. I imagine even with the shades coming off, they'll still try and be a bit aggressive to see how far across they can get. So I I couldn't map it, but again, I thought Philomere would be closer. So she and Don't Wink were both good in the gym crack with varying degrees of being held up. Don't Wink sat closer to the speed and lost that momentum, which can be more important. But Philomere also didn't get a lot of room through them, and now probably maps to be in front of her. Um, I thought that Guarantor trialled really nicely with the shades on last start. Brad Parnham sticks with him over Bannard. I thought was a bit of a push considering, like I said, Bannard trialled a lot better. And I think DMAC has a bit of an opinion of him. Uh,
You wouldn't believe it, but I think DMAC might be back.
really, what makes you say that?
Well, we had, who was it? It's gonna,
Bell and Costa Star did both run placings today.
yep. Costa Star ran really well today, and there was, wait for it. Um,
I can't remember there being a winner, but
there was a winner.
could be wrong.
Masamune was
Oh,
back,
and one well.
won really well off a long break.
Yeah.
I think DMAC is back.
Wow.
I'm on board.
Are we betting Bennett then, Mr. Trollberg?
I I think he gets a good enough chance. His trials were both very nice. His latest one was better than the first. He's now one of those 2-year-olds that has come back, has probably done a little bit more maturing.
Gelding operation helps
The
as
gelding
well.
operation always helps. That's the best gear change. And he's almost he's drawn to find a forward enough spot. So
Yeah, as long as he on race day in his initial prep, he missed the start of it, but I'm sure he'll begin a bit better
Yeah, he
uh,
began well in that
like he
latest
did in this,
trial.
yeah, in those trials. But race day
Yeah,
can be different, so it'll
yeah,
just be like I say. I found this another race that was incredibly hard to map. Um, my one thing I'll say with confidence is I think playing it sweet looks a bit unders considering she's only had two 400-meter trials, which were good enough, but they were also 9 weeks ago. So
yes.
you're getting a bit of pike tax there.
Yeah, I think it is a bit of pipe tax. And I find it interesting. D-Mac's gone for a really strong rider and Jared Noski as well on Bannett.
Yeah, now that Brad Palmer's become unavailable,
Yeah,
well, not unavailable, but chosen
like for his
elsewhere,
dad.
chosen his dad, yeah,
Yeah, which yeah, you can understand. It also trialled well.
who they paid 150,000 for, and is a half to nickel play, who I am somewhat of a believer in still.
Yeah. So yeah, look for me, I'm looking at the raced form in Bannard. I think it comes back a little bit more mature. Guarantor looked tried really well. Obviously Neville, I feel like Neville's probably had an opinion of it, considering he's given it time to furnish, and we know these playing gods are a lot better when they get to three. So
Yeah.
um, obviously given it time, still Colt, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes in the yard for the first time, Toby. Um, but yeah, looking to take on playing it sweet. That being said, Adam Durant is going well enough.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason why it cannot, but I just thought it looked like a bit of a hole
Yeah, yeah,
as favourite.
yeah. Um,
The line.
Race number 6 is the West Speed Platinum Autumn Series Heat number 2 over the 6 furlongs. We have Snippy Witch 370, Ocean Goddess 5, Ocean Goddess 4, Sky Duke 550, Kelvinator 6, Hammer Mill 6, and double figures the back end. Um, you start with the map here, Toby.
Welcome back to Fred Kersley Roulette. What will they do with Kelvinator today? Will he lead? Will he pop off to the breeze? Time will only tell. I suspect Sky Duke will be pretty keen for the front at 1200. So, although again, it's another Braden. So, between that fact and Kelvinator being liable to do anything, I think that your lead resource. In what order? I have no idea. I definitely need Sky Duke to be finding the front to get him anywhere near $5 in this field. Just think from the breeze at 1200, he'd be, especially outside of Kelvinator, who can roll along a bit. I think it'd leave him very vulnerable late. Um, Kelvinator was a lot better last start. Probably would have won if he held the front. You could almost say. Hammermill, I was keen last start. She didn't really fire. Comes back to 1200 where she put in her two good runs this prep. Gets shades for the first time in her career. Do you forgive? Do you forget? There's definitely a price point where you can. Um, she should get enough tempo to bring her into this. Just interesting. She's never seemed to me like a shades horse, but I would never want to question Merrill. I think Merrill does a great job with her horses. Snippy Witch started short last start, which to me, he looked wild unders. And he was okay into fourth, sort of for him at 1200 at this stage in his career, where he looks like he's looking for that bit further, that 13, 14, even 1500. He can win. Just a question of is he fully screwed down, considering he's probably being targeted at the final of this series. And Ocean Goddess probably wanted to see her go to 1400 this start, but she was good the other day, off a solid return as well. Might just be a bit more progressive than this field, but probably short enough for mine at this point in time.
Yep, fair call. I hate the horse. It's a low horse, but I think Sky Duke gets to just control this.
You're
And
participating in Kelvinator Roulette, are you?
yeah, I was. I was. He's always there. But, and look, the form behind Ruler Rocket, Jazz Session twice, Jazz Session obviously flying, missed a lip at its next start. Um, I'm just there's something about Sky Duke that just keeps drawing me in, but it's just a low horse. He's always been in the market at his last four runs. Like he's got a great SP profile. It wouldn't shock me if he bobbed up. I almost feel like it might be the last time.
I think if he got planted OSL and still ran a place, I think you could go again. I think at 1200, at this stage in his career, he does just do his better work on the fence. So
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what Kersley Roulette does. It will be interesting. What did you think of Hammer Mill back in trip,
um,
blinkers on?
like I said, I I thought she was going career best in her first two runs back, which were both at the 12. I think those runs would see be very competitive here. So maybe they've just taken the approach that 1400 was a bridge too far. Um, I just depends on whether you trust Merrill. And I trust Merrill.
Yeah, I got no reason not to trust Merrill. Quaddy numbers didn't
Oh,
make
it
it
is
easy for
that
us.
time. Well, obviously we need Sky Duke and Hammermill is a good start.
Yep.
What else to throw in? Does Kelvinator get a gig?
Um,
I'm
I
happy to leave
say,
at my peril.
yeah, I will leave Pike out as well. I'll go 1-3-6. What do you do with Valderina? It was not a bad trial.
It was
Wasn't
not a bad
horrible.
trial. Just from barrier 8 at 1200, thought it wasn't particularly winnable.
Yep.
Just depending, it's probably one where if they were making plenty of ground, you definitely throw her in
Yeah. Yeah. So
at that
it's
price point.
yeah, it'd definitely be a wait until just before race six to add her in. But I'd say 1-3-6.
I don't know if I touched on it at the top of the show. We've got like 20k westerlies forecast, which should perhaps it's
Oh,
not super strong for the back markers, but of course on the day it could be a bit stronger. So I'll be
yep.
on flag watch.
Race number seven, the 60 plus 1800-meter event. It's the Redback Flyer handicap.
Yeah, the Redback
Um,
5 benefit handicap. The Toby will be in the winners bar after this race handicap.
Redback Flyer 190 audio boy $4 Queen of Joyce and 7 Behara 850 double figures the rest. Take it away. Short price favorite.
I tried my best to be aggressive with him this week. I really thought I was going to be able to get him, and he's still come up shorter. And I just wanted to bang my head against the wall. That being said, nothing else really came up value in the race for me either. So at this stage, for me, it'll be sit back and watch the good horse go around. Not sure. There's, there's, I saw Laney say there's no plan at the moment in terms of forward or back. I thought it was a race to roll forward to the OSL in, but I don't have enough to throw my weight around and declare that these things will be happening. Brad's ridden him before, so it'd be definitely good to get Brad's opinion on what to do there. I just thought if you go back at this point in the day with the Westerlies up, this is the point in the day where they start walking if a few of them have made ground, especially since there's only one leader in Chantel. So if it got to that point in the day and it was looking like that, I would definitely like to be on speed with him because he doesn't have a really, he proved last time he has got a turn of foot, but
It's
I
a
just
building
don't
turn of
know if
foot
he'd be, yeah. You
because he's
certainly
such
wouldn't want to be going at the 500 with him.
yeah
When you're going to have an audio boy on your back, I think that'd leave you open to getting out sprinted by audio boy.
yeah.
So certainly can't take the price, but didn't really see anything to. This week I won't be betting around him and losing on him. So we're making progress in the right direction. Yeah, I think you win. I think he's really progressive. I really like what I've seen of him. Like I said last start, I didn't think leaders back on a bit of a slower tempo and sprinting would suit him, and he ran away from them. And Brad sounded pretty excited. So
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
forward to
absolutely.
him.
I thought the win of last start was a lot better than it probably looked.
Yeah, him,
Because
he's massive and he's
yeah,
not. particularly quick. I never thought so.
No. Um, awesome. Obviously not a race I'm too keen to get involved in.
One outing.
I would say 9-1.
Yeah, I'm happy with
Queen
that.
Wilson. She
She was
did
good last
well
week.
behind Filthy Habits.
Yeah, held up into the turn, and the win before that, she did it. Here's pricked back to 1800. Bit of a query, but
And look, if that rain comes, I don't think she's gonna hate it too much.
no,
Obviously, um, being a relation to Group One winner, come play with me. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
Right. Ignore that. Can we edit this?
Uh,
Um,
I
who
can have a
was
look.
the who was come play with me's
Fast as the wind, they're all Russian playmates.
Russian playmate? That's right. No, there
And
was
well, I don't think this would be because this one was with Greg K for a while, where with different owners. So yeah,
no,
she's not.
so completely disregard that. It's 100% getting clipped. Um, race number 8, we have 72 plus over 1,200 meters. Blue Rocket $4, Golden Veil 420, the Amber $6, Storm Chase 650, Super Session 7, Nobility 7, People Tapping 12, Upper Limits 20, and Classic Rogue 31. Take it away,
Congrats.
Toby.
Nobility will lead. Golden Veil will be leaders back, I think. Blue Rocket is 1-1 on whatever chooses to come forward. If anybody does, otherwise she potentially gets left OSL, which would be not a great spot for her, I don't think, outside of Nobility. But just don't see what else comes forward. Storm Chaser will get back. Deanna first up will get back. Upper Limits first up, I would think, goes back. Classic Rogue isn't quick enough. Super Session isn't quick enough. Keep Attacking was the only one I thought maybe, but he didn't really jump first up. And I think they've worked out he goes better set up, so they may just go back again.
Yeah.
Still don't think they'll go slow. I think Nobility likes to roll along. But I thought with Blue Rocket in the breeze outside of a tempo like that, could set up just to be a Nobility Golden Veil Quinella opportunity if the fence is okay, just because of the setup. If they drop off Blue Rocket, who I don't, sat OSL in a very winnable race a few starts ago and just didn't finish it off at all. If Nobility breaks it hard at the top of the straight, Golden Veil gets out, and the back markers are having to do that off of just a moderate tempo. I think it sets it up nicely for one of them to win. In saying that, I wasn't too honed in on them. Just with the predicted conditions, Keep Attacking comes through the same race as Nobility and Blue Rocket on a day where they didn't make much ground. I thought he was good enough. Probably just wanted him to draw a gate in a race like this.
I thought he was good considering he was first up and carried 60.
Yeah, and just got that way too far back. They didn't.
Yeah.
It's sort of a similar setup race to this in terms of they went as quick as Nobility wanted, no quicker, no slower, and just didn't really set up for those back markers on a day where, like I said, they didn't make much ground. Where this week I think they'll make a bit more, just with perhaps a weaker breeze horse this time around than Jazz Session.
Yeah. And Storm Chaser returning to the races after having that issue in October. What was that issue?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because he had that one start in the winter, just didn't, or sort of back end of last year, didn't really come up. Tipped straight back out. Troll was.
I thought it was
okay.
Good. Yeah, I thought it was actually good. You know, unlike Esprit Garçon, he actually ran through the line and was good past the post. I'd say his best can easily win this. It's just a massive question mark on whether he's near his best. We've seen.
I think he's also better first up at 1,000 with a bit of tempo on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. He's an interesting one because he's probably priced a bit like a Esprit Garçon of where you know that he's got talent, so you want to keep him safe.
Yeah, but if he knew he was right, he'd be $2.80.
Yeah. So I I'd almost be willing to take the gamble at the moment at 650. I
Because
think
at least this one didn't troll like it had square wheels.
correct. And look, I think he'll probably be able to find a forward enough position.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you should be
and
able to hold out most of those
yeah,
horses
and
right wide.
and by this time of the day, we're going to know whether or not they're making ground. And um, yeah, I think he'll be able to chance his hand. We've touched on keep attacking nobility. We touched on he's flying this prep. Continues to run honestly and well. Golden Vale, I think, is probably getting closer to a win. I thought she was good behind Taropa last start. Obviously,
Like,
Taropa,
I think Taropa's stronger than this field again, barring
yeah,
Storm Chaser, who we don't know if he's at his best. I think that sort of race is stronger than this one, stronger than the Blue Rocket Nobility race.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like she started what, the same price as Taropa.
Nah, she was $5. Taropa was
Taropa drifted
three.
late, didn't it?
Did she?
I
I
think
don't
so.
think she drifted that much. Oh, no, can't have that.
Don't trust me.
I can because I'm currently searching it up on my telephone. 3:30 to Roper.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Me and my stats are just way off at the moment.
because I remembered all play being just a little bit weak late, so I figured Taropa must have started pretty firm.
It was all play that drifted. Yep, yep. Spot on. Yeah, for me, it's Storm Chaser and Golden Vale. Nonetheless, Quaddy.
Uh, Storm Chaser has to go in. I think throw keep attacking at the price again. Probably wait and see close to the race. Golden Vale and Storm Chaser go in and then sort of work out what the day's doing for you. Keep attacking versus Nobility.
Yeah,
If they're leading, you definitely would want to throw in Nobility. If they're running on, you definitely want to throw in Keep attacking at double figures.
yeah, perfect. And the last, geez, I haven't made it easy. It's $5 the field, over 1,500 meters, 66 handicap.
Some of us are
So
$7.30 the field.
so lucky $5. The one of the greatest bridesmaids in WA history. Six
Could
in a
by
row.
by the end of this campaign, could put Tom Almighty to shame.
Tom Melbourne.
No, Tom Almighty.
Oh, Tom. Jesus. Um, so lucky. Six straight seconds. Roars to do absolutely no work and present. Correct choice 550, Stylish Lord $6, Our Rocky Bay 7, Lover Session 750, Silver Eye 850, and $11 the other four.
Yep.
Lottery.
Oh yeah. I'm $7.30 favorite and $7.60 fourth favorite. So have fun, kids. Thought it was interesting that Lucy is seemingly chosen to get off so lucky to ride Silver Eye. I thought
Yeah, I
all
mean she's
things
only had the
considered,
one ride, and she goes on to Durant.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like so lucky is one you'd try and hold on to because if she finally does break through, she'll start winning a lot of races. Where Silver Eye, I thought it'd been going okay, and then last time I thought he was really poor. He sat leaders back on a day like I touched on, where it was certainly an advantage to be on speed and on rail, and could only manage fifth. Got run over the top of by Madam Magic, um, and Blue Rocket would have been into third. Yeah, so I thought that was on balance a really poor run. Not sure about 1,500. Not sure about the map for him. I think Stylish Lord and Our Rocky Bay will be leader and Breeze. After Our Rocky Bay would attack a bit harder from the front last start. Be interesting if they do the same thing, considering they have the same jockeys again. I think Our Rocky Bay should have at least pressed him a bit harder because then they walked, which didn't suit him. I didn't think. so lucky. Looks like she'll be able to hold up close enough. Correct choice. Looks like he'll be able to hold up close enough. Looks like a lot of the back marks will just be going back, filing into spots. So definitely wanted to be on one in this race. Again, if they are running those slower tempos to this point in the day, this could be maybe they don't push on with our Rocky Bay and they do run another slower race, sets it up for probably something forward of midfield. Like any of these four favourites will probably be your first four in running. I liked War Matters first up run. Probably wanted to see him in something easier second up and would have backed him, but just the setup here, racing outside of his handicap a little bit, thought it was hard. Our Rocky Bay, I cannot catch for the life of me. Stylish Lord, I cannot catch for the life of me, although I did catch him a few starts ago, but he is a hard man to catch.
Golden Door,
lucky. I refuse to
cannot
back.
catch for the life of me.
Oh, Golden Door. Yeah, this race is, unless something really drifts out late, at the moment, this is a big no-bet race because, yeah.
It's another one Lucy's hopped off Golden Door for Silver Eye.
Yeah, that's a great point. It was sort of, well, probably more Brad's right. What's Brad riding? Nothing.
Brad is on War Matters.
Oh, that's a good
stable
War Matters, I think. It is the stable that's back. He'll be going very close third up, I would suggest. Oh, no, we have to do quaddy numbers for this.
We are going to have to do quaddy numbers.
Make it stop. Will it ever end?
To be fair, Patrick Harvey on a back marker, Golden Door. Seen it before. Seen the movie before.
That one before. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I don't, something about Golden Door. At this time of the day.
Just thought he got all the favours last start, could only just get over a horse with some serious tricks himself in Prey again.
Yeah, it's true. And
perhaps the greatest bag of tricks in WA racing.
True. Yeah, spot on. This is an absolute lottery for me. I'm not one of these people, but I really think So Lucky deserves to break through. The deserves term is just so cringe, but
place.
Yeah, well,
just launched the $1.90 in the place.
You look at her last 5 starts. She's $3, $2, $2.10, $1.65, $4.60, and she's run second on every time. Could the time that she breaks through be at her biggest SP?
Very possibly
as favourite. And look, I don't think she's going to worry about any of the weather that's coming. She'll get through that perfectly fine. Coincidentally, her 2 wins in her career have both been on rain-affected tracks.
Yep.
She's drawn to do no work. Stylish Lord, I can't catch, and I don't think I'm ever going to catch again. I just don't find myself on this horse. Like, he's thereabouts, but he's just plodding away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct choice, looking around it, comes out of that Blazing Emerald race. Another Session's another one that's just always thereabouts. Comes out of the Siberian Siren race.
It was a really
good.
I was going to say really good. She did as good as she could for how slow they went. So slow in that race. That was really bad again.
Yeah,
just doesn't suit Great Fortune.
No, but I sort of expected that from. Yeah, sort of expected it from Great Fortune being first up. But looks, Lover Session's another bridesmaid. She's been in the top 3 17 times out of her 30 starts.
Yeah.
So she's another one. Yeah.
Plenty of horses that know how to get beat in this race.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then I'm still looking for Emerald Trader for Belmont season. Didn't get to see it. Was it last week or a fortnight ago?
scratch to come to this.
Yeah,
It said future nomination anyway.
yeah. So it's one that I'm still looking forward to returning to Belmont. That's another one that shoots itself in the foot. Won't be an easy ride for Holly, but looking for it uh, at Belmont. Yeah, I've got nothing for you.
Do we do a field job?
Why not?
Actually,
I
no, I'm
can't.
happy to leave out Silvereye. Take out Silvereye. The rest can stay. And then it's really funny if Silvereye wins. But it's the only one I actively do not want.
Yeah, all right. I'm happy to do that. Field minus Silver Eye in the last leg of the quad.
That has never ended well for anyone.
Anyone. At least we're not leaving Pike out.
I think
Could
Scott
you imagine if
McCormack
we went field minus Pike?
Scott McCormack had a quaddy coming up at Ascot yesterday. I think he left 3 horses out, backed 2 of the others back, and had the one other result win.
Yeah. What was it? He had the last leg was
Late arrival.
late arrival. That's right. Late arrival. Alex earned 3 deep, no cover.
Good win.
Good horse if it had a different jock.
No,
Yes.
believe Alex Hearn will absolutely come into his own on bottomless tracks. You just wait. You want proof? Go and watch the day late arrival 1. Watch a few of his rides that day.
Yeah, he's great outside of the metro area.
No, but he'll come into his own in the wet.
I'm happy to be proven correct.
He needs to be on the right
Maybe a bit
horses to
proven
do it. Horses that can be put into the race, but he'll put him into the race and they'll keep going and he'll outperform what he should be on those deteriorating tracks. Mark my words. Best
I
bets,
can't
Kev?
wait. Best bet is race number 4, number 8. Black Aura, very, very keen about it. No reason to hop off. Gets a great map. Takes on the older, like the 3-year-old against the older horses. Another playing God 3-year-old that's coming into its own. Who would have thought? And then other than that, it's a competitive day.
Yeah.
Just a really tough betting day, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, just that one stands out for me at this point in time. Looking forward to seeing how the track plays. All your Mounting Yard mail and prices from Saturday, and then all your bonus stuff Sunday at Geraldton.
Can't wait. What I actually can't wait for is a return to Port Hedland and the dirt.
Yes, the
next
dirt.
Saturday.
That's coming up, isn't it?
That is coming up.
That is
And I'm
coming
excited.
up. Yeah, looking forward to that. That's your happy place,
Yeah. Well, besides the trials.
of course. And
And
you'll be there
Racing Cup
Friday.
tomorrow night.
You'll be there Friday night.
You may see me on course. No promises.
All right, I'll keep an eye out for
I'm sure you'll be there.
you. Thank you very much, Toby. Pleasure as always.
Thank you, Kev.